What's going on, everyone? Today I'm bringing you episode 16 of the OSA Journey of Being an Athlete again. This is week 2 of my new training program. Just more sprinting, more jumping, lifting heavy, just trying to get as athletic as I can. So before we dive into the video, just go check out my boy Terrell Horton on Instagram @_ono_setgo! He is the instrumental music for my content, does amazing work. Go check him out and let's get into the video.
Okay, so for day one, I just started with some frisbee sprints. Throw the frisbee, go get it. Alternated each starting leg, so 2 with the right, 2 with the left. I'm getting there, just not catching it. So that hand-eye coordination definitely needs to improve here. Just making sure I'm catching it, like right there. Big drop. Then again, another drop. Here I just went back to some just original sprints, down and back with the white lines. I like myself with these sprints to really push the drive phase longer. I'm coming up way too fast. It's almost like I'm hitting the brick wall, just not getting as much acceleration as I'd like. And so that's an area I can improve on, is just working that drive phase, digging through the ground, pushing as hard as I can to get more explosive, and work on that acceleration. That was just 4 down and backs. Works a little bit of the sprinting, a little bit conditioning aspect. Then I went into my main lift. This was a 3x3 for hex bar deadlift, 85%. I went with 315. I was struggling with the grip here, just trying to, I cut my hand a couple weeks ago on a hex bar. I was lifting with my ring and it cut some skin, so I did struggle this week with the hex bar deadlift, so I only got the 3x3 in just because that hand, but I'm hoping to bounce back next week and get after it. I went into the accessory lifts. I went in with a seated cable row here, and this was 4x8, and this was 110 pounds, sorry. And again, 4x8. This is with that cable I have. I set it up a certain way so then it works for myself. Then went into some neutral grip pull-ups. I'm just using 2 handles here with the strap. This is going to be 4x8 as well. I got 8, I got 6, and then I got 5, and then I got another 6. So I'm not getting that 8 exactly like I like, but, doing some neutral grip. Then I went with cable face pulls, which is going to be 4x8. Did 95 pounds here. I'd like to control it more, not let the weight pull me back. I want to be in charge here. I want to control it and try not to move that head, tuck a little bit. No, only thing that should be moving is that rope and my arms. Then went into the core, went into hyperextensions. This is 3x20, working the lower back. I think next time I do these, I will add some weight, just because I think that I start feeling it towards the 15th rep for the last 5. But I think pushing the weight will make me really feel it for all 20 reps. And again, just strengthen that lower back, an area that I definitely can work on. It's going to help me with my front squat. That's where I feel weak with the front squat, is the lower back of just holding the weight. So for day 2, I went into some pogos. I'd really like to see myself bend those ankles up, so have my toes point up when I jump and then point them back down for the landing. That's an area, I'm just kind of, it's almost like going through the motions here. I need those toes to pop up so I can work on, the firing with the ankles. I went into alternating pogos here. I did 2 rounds of 10. The pogos before, it was just normal pogos of 2 of 10 as well. My second round of pogos here, of alternating pogos. Trying to, again, I'd like to see that toe come up when the foot's in the air and then bounce to the other foot. Then I went into some single leg pogos, 10 each leg. Again, an area as well I can improve on is getting that toe pointed up. That's going to lose trying to take the leg out of it and just use the ankles here. I then went into a standing vertical jump, 10 reps, trying to touch the backboard. I'm not getting the backboard as much as I'd like. I am getting it more consistent than I was, but again, I'd like to get it all 10 reps. It's gonna just be something I have to work on, but also being more forceful, getting better, getting lower on my squat here to explode more violent with the arms as well. This is the second round of the vertical jumps, just standing vertical jumps. So for the last five reps, I really, feel fatigued, and so that's also as I get, the more I jump, the more conditioned I get to it, won't fatigue as quickly, which will then help me get more consistently of touching backboard. I then went into an approach jump. Again, this is where I need to get in a better position, get lower, so I can jump up, be more explosive, and violent arms. My arms are key when it's come to jumping. Use that counter movement to come back up, and just be as violent as I can with them. So definitely an area. It's 10 jumps here, but I'd like to, again, the goal is to get all 10 jumps touching backboard. I think I can do that, and then the goal after that is touch backboard. So it's just part of the process, being consistent. The more I jump, the better I get. Then went into my round 2 of approach jumps. Again, those first 4 jumps, I'm getting the backboard. I'm getting up there. That's because I'm not as tired, but I think, part of the conditioning as I'm getting tired, I don't get as high, but also getting in a better squat and jump up with the violent arms will, again, help me touch backboard more consistently. Alright, so for my main lift, I hopped into bench press. This is 3x3. I did 190 pounds, which is 85% of my max. I actually felt off this day, so I think the weight could definitely move a little easier. Then I went to 2x3, 75% with an eccentric, so I'm counting 4 seconds on the way down, working that eccentric phase. The part of the muscle, this is the muscle action where the muscle is lengthening, and I'm just slowing that portion of the exercise down. And then I went into overload, so 5x3 with a 5.5 inch block, and this is with 205, and then so next week will be the lower box, or wood block. Then I went into an incline dumbbell press, 4x8. I did 55s here, keeping the dumbbells touching. I want both the top end and the bottom end of the dumbbell to touch the top of the chest and the lower part of the chest. I actually had went 55 for the first round, 55 for the second round, or no, I got 55 for all four rounds here with the incline. When I went to normal dumbbell bench press, it was 4x8, and this is where I did 55 for the first 2 rounds, and then I actually had to go down to 45s for the first 2 rounds, bumping up to that 8 reps this week. I just felt a little more fatigue, and again, I felt a little off. You're going to have some off days. I then went into some dips. This was just 4x8 body weight. I think this upcoming week I will put a plate on and add a little bit of resistance. For the core, I went into a hanging leg raise, and this was 3x10, just hanging on the pull-up bar, swinging the legs. I want to control it on the way down, don't want to let gravity just swing it back, control it, use the core here. I then hopped into day 3, just went with the front squat, didn't get any movement in it today. I wish I did. And this was 3x3, 85% of the max, and this is 185. Again, the legs are strong enough. I should be pushing more weight, but it's that lower back that I'm trying to focus on and get stronger. Then went down to two rounds, 3 sets, or 2 sets, 3 reps, 75% of the max. This is that eccentric phase, so I'm counting the 4 on the way down, and it's not 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going 1, 2, 3, a legit 4 seconds, slowing the eccentric phase down. Then I went into overload, so I'm just going to a quarter squat here, overloading the weight. I went with 195 in the pins and just 5x3. I then went into my first accessory. This is step ups. This is going to be 4 sets, 8 reps each leg, so a little bit more towards the muscular endurance. I'm still building strength here with that 8 rep range. Hand grip, grip strength is going to play a factor in this, and I use 60s here, so I actually had went up from last week. Then I went with the 60s again. I went 4x8 on the RDLs here, getting a good stretch with the hamstrings. I'm bending the knees a little bit. I'd like to have a little bit less of a bend here. A little bend's okay. I would just like to keep my legs a little more straight, activate more hamstrings. Then to finish with the last accessory lift, I went into hamstring curls, again using the green and purple band here to add more resistance. 4 sets, 8 reps, trying to build those hamstrings as strong as I can. And I guess I didn't record the side planks. I did side planks, 3 sets, 45 seconds each. I then went into day 4. I got some bike in, just want to get a little cardio. Bike for 2.5 miles before I went into my upper body lift. Again, I'm going to get more movement in. To warm up the upper body, I just did my supinated grip, 90-degree holds, trying to point those thumbs down. I just did 3 rounds, 10 seconds to warm up the rotator cuffs. I went into shoulder press here. This was the 3 sets, 3 reps, 85% of my max. This was 130 here. Trying to start pushing the weight. Then I lowered the weight. I went 2 sets, 3 reps. I went 115 here. And you can see I'm doing a 4 second eccentric all the way down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, up. Again, it's just during that lengthening phase of the muscle action. I then went into an overload and I went 135, so not a crazy amount of overload here. This was 5 rounds, 3 sets. This sucked. I really felt it here. That overload, just trying to get my body used to pushing heavier weight. I then went into my first accessory lift, which was just upright rows. I actually halfway through switched to the other plate, but this was 4 rounds, 4 sets, 8 reps, and this was just a 45-pound plate. Again, I switched it because you're working a little bit of grip strength here as well with the plate. I then went into the front plate raise, which was 4 sets, 8 reps. Again, using that 45-pound plate. I need to start getting my arms out more straight. Shouldn't have any bend here. Then went into the rear delt raise, which was just 4 sets, 8 reps with 20s. Gonna be going up to 25 next week. To finish, just 3 sets of 20 reps of sprinter sit-ups. It's supposed to look like I'm sprinting. I just want to appreciate you guys checking out the series. Just trying to get as athletic as I can and just be more consistent with my workouts. Especially I need to be sprinting, jumping as much as possible so I can build that power and explosive. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks.